Welcome back everybody. You are still not level. Let me sort that out. I thought I'd leveled up my camera, but you're a bit squint. Oh, I think that's better. Better? I don't know. Anyway, today I've come down to Eastbourne. I had to change my plans. I was going to fish Pevensey Bay, pulled up in the car park, thought this car park looks a bit busy. And so before I got anything out the car, I walked over to the beach. There's a match on down there. And I didn't fancy walking 100 miles with all my kit. So I thought I'll just come down Eastbourne instead, where I can park a bit closer to where I'm fishing. So that's where I am. My plan was to fish Pevensey Bay, targeting dabs. Well, dabs, yeah, that would definitely have been more chance of that in Pevensey Bay. But as it is, I've come down to Eastbourne. Bear with me a second, I've got some dirt on my camera. Let me get in there, pick it off. Hopefully you didn't see it, but it's gone now. So I think I'm a bit less likely to pick up my dabs down here in Pevensey Bay. Sorry, in Pevensey Bay, in Eastbourne. Get it right, Gem, I'm half asleep still. I've got a bit of jet lag because I've just come back from India and haven't been sleeping very well, but that's my worry. Yeah, so let's have a look at the sea. I'll turn you around a bit. You can see the sea state. So pretty coloured, not too rough though. It's blowing about 25-mile-an-hour wind today. Let's put the camera back down. From southwest, but round here at Eastbourne, I'll sort you out. Around here where I am in Eastbourne, it's quite sheltered from those southwesterly winds, so it is fishable. Got some dogs coming to join me. Yeah, so a lot of colour. I'm hoping we're not going to be in for a pin whiting fest, and I still want to pick up those dabs. But when I was loading up my car yesterday, feeling a bit tired, needed an afternoon nap, I didn't quite have the energy to bring the right kit with me for my dab session. So I've actually brought my competition nagas and my Penn Casting Specials. Definitely overkill for what I need today. But given my venue has changed, I'm actually quite pleased I didn't pack my much lighter kit that I was going to bring down, because the tide can rip round here. They're not big tides today, sort of middling sort of size from memory. But still, I'll be glad I got my 6-ounce leads and my competition nagas to chuck those out just in case I need to hold bottom. I'm going to try fishing at various distances. And given I'm targeting dabs, my bait for the day matches the quarry. It's all frozen. I've got some oiled and salted lug. If you watched my Facebook video on how I freeze them down, these were some of the lug I froze down in that video. So there's 20 oiled and salted lug there. If you want to know how I do it, jump over to my Facebook page. You can find me under Gem Stapleton. And one of my posts from October had that video in it, which I've reposted recently because quite a few people asked about it. And I've also got some past our best sandeels to try a little bit of fish bait for the dabs. Possible other fish might be around. Like I say, I'm really hoping the sea is not full of whiting. So I'm going to sort myself out a cup of tea on the jet boil, slowly get set up because the tide's still a little bit low for when I want to start fishing. Yeah, so I'm going to spend maybe half an hour or so getting set up, taking it easy, and then we get some baits out. See you in a second. Let's get this jet boil set up. cheers everyone. I'm going to leave that to brew. And soon I will be recaffeinated and have a bit more energy. Definitely in need of this. Still a bit hot. It's raining. Damn it. I left my raincoat in the car, but I'm under the shelter. It's only supposed to be a few little showers today. This coat I'm wearing, not waterproof, but my new camera is waterproof. Woohoo! I can leave you without a plastic bag over your head, like I was having to do if you watch my Norway videos, keep covering you up with a plastic bag. Yeah, so you can stay in the rain. No, to be fair, I'll probably move you in a minute anyway, even though you are now waterproof. Right, rigs. Now, because I was specifically hoping for dabs, I got what I call my dab / sole rigs. 3-hook flappers, little hooks, little snoods. These are, I've written sole / dab rigs on the packet there. 10-inch snoods, and that's a 28-pound breaking strain mono, 0.4, 60-pound rig body, oops, and size 6 super matches. I've got quite a few of these made up at home, but I just brought 4 down with me. I'm only planning to use 2 of them, and then a couple of spares in case we get eeled or snagged or have a crack off. Right, get 2 out, put the rest back in the plastic bag. I used to be a big fan of rig winders, now I prefer plastic bags, you know, switch between the 2, I can be fickle. We all have our own preferred way. If the whiting turn up in force, I do have some 18-inch loop rigs with 1/0 hooks on, which I can switch over to because it's a pain in the neck getting these little tiny hooks out of whiting's mouths. And somewhere down here, somewhere in the depths of my rigs, if the whiting become too much of a pest, while I wouldn't expect this to work down here because I don't hear of many congers coming out down Eastbourne, I've got some Shore Hunter conger rigs there with me. I've used them before, so they're not brand new, but I'll give them a good wash when I do use them, and I'll pop them back in and bring them out just in case. You'll know if you watch my videos, if you watch my channel regularly, you'll know I don't like a conger, but I equally don't like being plagued with pin whiting. And you never know, something else might come along and eat it, like a nice juicy bass that I can take home for my wife to feast upon. I don't eat fish unless it's tuna that come out of a tin and is covered in mayonnaise. And very, very occasionally I might have a bit of cod, provided I've put ketchup on it, so I don't have to taste the fish. It's a shame fish doesn't taste like fillet steak, because then I would love it. Right, let's get my grip lead on. Because I've got the Nagas, I've also got my 6-ounce grips. Again, way overkill for dabs. Is this going to be a session of wrong rods, right fish? We'll find out soon enough. Right. So these really are little tiny short shank hooks. Great for targeting dabs. You know, along our shores they're quite small fish. Look at that. Very tiny little delicate hook. And that snood there, 10-inch mono snood. No need to use fluorocarbon in conditions like this. It's like dirty water. I really don't think it's going to make very much difference at all to put fluorocarbon on there today. So we've got mono snoods, 3-hook flapper, little size 6 swivels on the rig body. That's probably a size 2 or 1 on the top, and a little lead clip at the bottom. So that's it, that's the rig. So I'm going to fish with 2 of those. I'm not going to bother today with having a spare rig set up unless I get more energy after my cup of tea. Or if those whiting turn up, I'll stick one out with bigger hooks on. So exactly the same tactics on the rods, but I'll be mixing the baits up between the frozen oiled and salted lug and the past their best sandeels. Right, we'll get another lead on here. The sky's looking pretty black, I have to say. It's not really what I wanted. It was supposed to be quite sunny today, but getting brighter as the day goes on. So fingers crossed we'll get some nice weather. Let's get this rig untangled. I don't think I put this one in the packet very well. So yeah, this is exactly the same rig as I'd used for my sole fishing. But we're in December. The dabs should be starting to turn up. In fact, I've already had 1 or 2 out this season. I'll have to try and get down Pevensey Bay another day when there's not a match on down there, so I can fish where I wanted to fish. Oh, nearly there. Like I say, though, I'm in no rush to get set up this morning. I'm just after an easy day. Sometimes it's about coming out and being on the beach rather than all out fishing. And today is definitely about coming out and just relaxing a bit, enjoying my lovely cup of tea while I slowly set up. I bet you also have some days when you come out, don't you? You just want to come and chill rather than fish hard. And some days you want to come out and fish hard. Like if I go down to Chesaw, I'm going to give it everything, come down and fish my local beach. I can just take it easy if I want. I can just pop down another time. But yeah, fish of the month is definitely dabs for me. Again, over on my Facebook page, I put a little post up about dabs in December. So yeah, check it out. You can follow my page over there, see what posts I make about fishing, and put some little short videos up on that as well that I don't put up on YouTube. So yeah, give us a follow on Facebook. And if you're feeling really generous, give us a subscribe on YouTube as well. Anyway, I'm going to carry on enjoying my cup of tea, wait for this rain shower to pass, then I'll get the rod set up and slowly start baiting up and getting some baits chucked out. Time to venture out the shelter, get these reels popped on the rods. There we go, that's the reels on the rods. I suppose I should put some bait on the hooks really, shouldn't I? That's why you come fishing. Yeah, no, the rain stopped. It's brightening up, still a bit breezy, but that's fine. I was expecting that today. But what I wasn't expecting was to be fishing here instead of Pevensey Bay. But still, I'm out and that's what matters. Well, should we get some bait on? I'm going to try a little bit of sandeel and a little bit of these oiled and salted lug. Let's cut my vac pack open. So like I say, there was the video I put up on Facebook recently showing how I froze these down. Let's take a look at how they've come out the freezer. So these ones have only been in the freezer about a month. I also put a video up on Facebook recently showing some I'd had in the freezer for 5 years using the same method. Look at that. It looks absolutely pristine. That is a beautiful worm. That'll do me a couple of hooks, probably 3 hooks. And I want to make sure these stay in the best possible shape. So I'm going to just get a couple out, pop the rest back in the cool pack with the ice pack. So there's another one. I'll get 4 out. 2, 3, and the one I've already got is number 4. Try and keep those nice and frozen. Though when they have been frozen down using this method, they do refreeze pretty well. So that's it. 4 worms in there. That'll keep me going for a little while. And we'll get a couple of these sandeels out as well. And then I'll pop the packet back in the cool pack. Right, so 2 sandeels, 4 lug. Try and keep everything nice and cold. Once I've finished all my baiting up, I'll probably stop the cool back. Oh, in fact, I'll do it now. I'll stuck it back here because it's out of the weather. Try and keep it a nice cool temperature. Right, so we're going to get the lug. First thing I'm going to do is snip off that sandy tail. Don't want that for anything. Snip off the head. And what that does is by opening up the ends, you let a bit more of the juice flow out. Now that's a smallish worm. I'm going to cut that in half. So that's going to give us baits 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches long. And that's plenty big enough for a dab. I probably could have got 3 baits out of that. But hey, we'll go with 2. So I'll get this on the bait needle. And because these are frozen worms, I am going to use some elastic to hold them in place. Sorry if you can hear a lot of my shouters slapping around in the wind, but it's quite breezy. It's a breezy December day. Right, so bait elastic. This is the medium Baitex. Fine would be absolutely fine. But I haven't got that with me. Just a little bit. We only want to hold it in place on the hook. Stops it being so easy for the fish to steal and holds it in place so the hook point remains exposed. Right, so that's going to do 2 of my hooks. Let's get the rig. Let's go for the bottom hook and the middle hook. Or maybe the bottom and the top. I don't really care which, to be honest. There we are. That's the bottom one. And a top one. And next up we're going to do a bit of sand eel. So pop that in there, slide it around. Just enough elastic to hopefully hold that in place. If I find it slipping a bit, I'll put a bit more elastic on next time. My hands a quick wipe. And now we need some sand eel. So with my wonderful scissors, these are from Cedra, some of the best bait scissors out there, chop off the tail, and then I'm going to very carefully cut along the spine up towards the belly. So I'm making some sand eel fillets essentially. So I'm going to cut the sand eel in half. Hopefully you can sort of see what I'm doing there. Cutting up from the tail towards the head, essentially making sand eel fillets. So that's it, 2 halves. And we're going to cut some pieces off that. So similar sort of size to the lug bait. And we're just going to pop that piece on. So I'll get the middle hook. I don't need a bait needle for this. At least I don't think I do. We'll give it a go. So we're just going to thread the hook through, twist, make sure I go through the centre, twist it around again, do that a few times. Enough so that the first time I punctured that bit of sand eel, I've just pushed it over the eye of the hook, and then we're going to get a bit of bait elastic and whip that on. Skin in, so the skin is on the inside and the flesh is on the outside. Just helps a little bit more scent, I reckon, get out that way. Certainly true with a bigger fish bait, that you'd wrap it so the flesh is exposed and the skin's inside, because the skin is what holds the scent in, and we want the scent to get out. So more elastic on this than the worms. Try and make sure it stays nice and neat. And there we have our little piece of sand eel. Hopefully you can see that okay. Right, I'm going to bait up the other rig in the same way, and then I'll slowly start thinking about casting out. Right, that's enough faffing around, let's get some baits out. So there we are, my grip lead's seen better days, but I'm going to walk down the shingle and I'm going to cast this out, maybe only 30-40 yards, to see if we can pick something in close, coming in with the tide. Wish me luck, especially coming back up this shingle bank. Blowing a hoolie. Quite a vicious crosswind. Hopefully my hat isn't going to come off, maybe I'll put my hood. Don't want to lose my shore hunter hat. Didn't see where that went, but I could certainly pulled from west to east in this howling gale. I'm going to wait for the tide to come in a bit more before I stick the second rod out, unless of course I'm picking up quite a few fish and it's worth getting both of them fishing this early in the tide. Oh, sun's come out. Ain't all bad, is it? conditions are certainly much more pleasant down Pevensey Bay. Right, now I've got to get up here. I can tell you, it might not look it, but this is pretty steep. There we are. You can probably tell why I don't want to stick the other one out until I can justify casting from up here. Right, let's get that line tightened up. Right, now we just wait. Let's hope for a bite. Well, I'll leave you watching the rod for a minute. So I think earlier on I said I've got the wrong rods, hoping for the right fish. I've got the rod I would have brought if I'd been more organised would have been my Tronixpro Competition Surf rod, which has got 5 different pushing tips as well as a regular tip. And it's a really nice rod for fishing for the flatties close in, or even a bit further out, paired up with my Shimano fixed ball. But it's definitely for lighter fishing than I'd want to do around the point here in this sort of wind. Another day around the point, yeah, I'd probably bring it down if it was nice and calm and I knew the tide wasn't going to be ripping too much. But as it is, we're fishing with the Naga, and it's probably a good job that's the rod I brought. I can already see my line being taken round towards the groin, so I shall cast further towards my shelter end of the beach next time I stick this back out. But the 6 ounce lead shouldn't have any trouble holding really in this size tide, but you never know around here, it can absolutely rip. I've had 6 ounces not hold bottom here, even in the more moderate tides like we've got today. So let's see what today brings. At the moment, there's a promenade behind me and it's brought us a Dalmatian being walked along the back by its owner. A lot of people out walking their dogs, probably making the most of this little break in the weather, if you can call it that, because it is still pretty windy. I guess it doesn't matter too much if you're walking a dog. Anyway, let's see, is it going to be dabs or whiting? Drop us a comment, let us know what you think I'm going to catch today before you get to the end of the video and find out. Make sure that line stays nice and tight. Will we get a dab or won't we get a dab? Woohoo, let's find out soon enough. I think I've gone crazy. I need to eat something, I need to drink coffee, I don't know what I need. I need something. Bang on the head? Not sure. What I need is a decent fish. I don't think I'm going to get a decent fish today because I'm just out scratching around for little bits. But I'm hoping to get out fishing Chesil in the next couple of weeks. Take the camper van down to Dorset, give it a bash. You know, not the best time of year, December. We're getting into January soon. But it beats being at home, doesn't it? Now I'm going to give you a little plug as well. A little plug, I don't know who it's plugging. A little plug. I've set up a Facebook page called Sea Fishing Sirens, and it's exclusively for women who fish in the UK. Sea fish, that is. So if you're a woman, you go sea fishing, or you're thinking about getting into sea fishing, you just want to join a friendly group where you can get advice, talk fishing, maybe talk about some issues that particularly affect women in fishing, like safety alone on the beach, or how do you go for a pee, that kind of thing, then check us out on Facebook. It was me and my friend Sam has set that up as joint admins. So that's Sea Fishing Sirens. Go check it out, drop us a member request, and make sure you answer the membership questions. Yeah, but welcome to those of you who want to join. Sorry guys, well I say guys, men, sorry men, it's not for you, but it is for women or people who are living as women and identify as such. Give us a sign up on that group, that'd be great. Well guys, it's definitely time to reel in. Hang up my spare rig there that I've got baited up. It's been out a little while. Hopefully we're not too near that groin because it has gone down that way now. I think we're fine. Question is, have we got any fish? We'll find out soon enough, won't we? I haven't seen anything that looked obviously like a bite. A few little pull downs where the surf's been hitting the line. There's a big bow in the line from the wind. Doesn't feel very fishy. And those baits are absolutely untouched. Let's take a look. I'm probably very tempted just to send those straight back out, to be honest. That one's fine. A little bit of sand eel. Nothing's touched that. Just tidy that one at the bottom up. Yep, nothing touched it. Right, I'll pop the spare rig back in the shelter, pop it on my box. Hopefully that's out of the way of any dogs roaming around. And yeah, let's get these baits sent back out. I'll see you in a bit. Well, the rain is coming down again, and we're going to get this whiting on my Shore Hunter wire trace rig. I think these are the ones he sells that he makes with Gareth Griffith. Yeah. Should have put the teeth in this morning. Really lovely quality rigs. This one's been travelling around in my box since January, and I have used it. Washed it when I got back home, and let's just make sure that splashdown doesn't have a gap in it. Ram those forceps right in there, check it's all bent out. So that gap there, that's what we're looking to make sure the lead can't get back out. That's looking pretty good. Well, sometimes when you're fishing in a rough sea and your lead's being dumped on the shingle by the surf as you come through the edge, it can bash that and reopen it, and so you do have to check it while you're fishing. But look, we've got some big ass hooks on there, look. Look at the size of them mothers. Bit of wire trace. Like I say, I'm not really expecting to catch a conger, but we're going to do this just for fun. So I've popped this whiting on the head, look. It's very, very dead. And the first thing we need to do is trim it. So I'm going to start off by cutting through the eyeball roughly, so the mouth is off. All right, just do that. So we've got a flat end. Now we need to trim the fins off because we want it to not spin when it's flying through the air. Bit like the snowman, you know, it's flying through the air. Fins off. Get rid of all those. And then I'm just going to trim the tail around there to make a nice size bait. Right, so there's our whiting. Fresh from the ocean. Now, I used to have a really lovely thick bait needle that Wayne gave me, but I lost it. I do have another thick one, which is going to do the trick, I think. Because we want to hold this nice and straight when we put it on. So we're going to get this bait needle. That's the right way around. I'm going to slide it straight down through that whiting. Just like so. And I'm going to get my hooks, starting with the one at the bottom of the pennel. And I'm going to take the fish and we're going to thread it through there. So I just need to do this way round. Start it off. Come on. Try not to get it in my finger. Right, so that's sitting on the back of the whiting. Now I've got some heavy bait elastic. And of course the end has gone inside, so I'm going to have to rescue the end of the elastic. I'll just unscrew it and take the elastic out the tube. In fact, I have some even thicker elastic than that. I've just remembered, I brought it with me. So we'll find our even thicker elastic, which is good for a bigger bait like this. You want to hold it on nice and securely, and you've got to, in my opinion anyway, you've got to match the elastic to the size of the bait you're using. This is really nice thick elastic for these big fish baits. Not that that's a particularly big fish bait, but This is our Shore Hunter latex heavy bait elastic. Right, so give this guy a really firm whip on. To start with, I'm just going to go gently up and down to hold it in place before I bind it on tightly. Right, back down. Oops, got a bit of a tangle there. Ooh. Just rip that off. Right. Carry on going with the non-tangled bit. Make sure this is very firmly held on. Remember, when you're trying to hook fish, what you need is resistance. And if the bait's just going to bend and collapse in their mouths, it's going to move the hooks around, and you don't necessarily get the resistance you need to set the hook in the fish's mouth. Well, that looks pretty well whipped on. A little bit more around the midsection there. Here we are. And then I'm just going to tie a knot in that, because it's quite thick elastic. Normally I don't bother tying knots. When it's this fat, this thick, there we are. And that is firmly held on. I can slide the bait needle out now. And then we take our top hook. And I'm going to twist the wire around it a few times. And I like to offset my hooks when I'm using a pennel setup, so they're at 90 degrees to each other. So you've got that one sticking up there, the one at the top, and if I twist it, that's the one I've just popped through the tail. Right, now I'm going to add just a little more elastic to make sure that stays in place. I'll just pop that bait needle back in for a sec as well. Oh, I've got elastic going everywhere here. Right, so I can hold that firmly against the hook. What am I doing? Anyone would think I'd never done this before. I'm just going to cut a length of this off actually, because I've made a pig's ear. But that's fine. We're not perfect. This just shows you the real way it is. Right, so I've got my bit of elastic. Just start it off if I can. Right, hold it in my right hand. Make sure it stays away from the barb, so we have a clean entry point. Right, and I'm just going to tie that off. And cut the end. So let's take that bait needle back out. And that is now held nicely in place, look, on that top hook as well as the bottom hook. And that is good to go out next time we reel in. Still haven't got the second rod out. It's not very pleasant conditions, honestly. It is blowing absolute hoolie. You might be able to see the shelter wobbling around here. But that big bait's going to go out, and I'll probably leave that out for an hour, see if we can pick anything up on it, because I don't want to keep catching baby tings. Yeah, no sign of anything on the rod. I'll bring you back shortly. Oh guys, you couldn't get much more of a contrast on the sky at the moment. Blue sky above me, dark grey clouds out to sea. It's been raining on and off. The shelter's all nice and wet. Hopefully it'll stay a bit sunnier and dry out before I pack up. But it's time to reel in, and it's time to send out our ting-a-ling. Oh, tangled up trace. Let me get that untangled. Let's unspin that. So there's our pulley pennel with the wire trace. Oh, come on, unspin. All clipped up there. And that is ready to fly out to the sky once we've got the other one reeled in. I don't know what line Wayne uses on this, but it's really lovely soft line. Very strong, feels maybe £150 I'd guess. I don't know for sure. Just going by how thick it feels. Let's get this in. Hopefully no more tings, but you know, where there's 2, there's 100. Nope, I've got a snag. Come on. That's not good, is it? That's well snagged. Okay. See if we can get it out. You know the drill. Wind down into it. Gently pull it back. See if we can get it moving. I might go up shot. That's it. It's moved. Oh, it moved a tiny bit. Keep the pressure on. Oh. Feels like it's just dragging through something out there. Not good. Something moved. I think I might have got it back. Certainly some weight on the end. So either I've got a lump of weed or I've managed to get my rig out that snag with that slow, gentle pressure. Coming through the edge, its weight's increased, probably means we've got another whiting on the end. Have we? Is there anything on there? Yeah. I'm going to go down, I'm going to chuck this one back at the edge, save carrying it back up the beach. Ooh, down I go. Oh guys, I was going to release this down the bottom, but it's a different species. It's a different species. I'll bring it up, pop it in the bucket, and I'll free it when it's recovered. We have a little pout. On the lug. All the fish we've caught been on the lug. Nothing interested in the sand eel. But look at that. How tiny is that? I'm going to chuck this guy in my bucket of water. There, let it get its breath back. Right, let's get that weed out the top eye and chuck out the dead whiting. Weed. Let's see if we can see where that was snagged. Looks like one of the hooks. The middle hook. So yeah, it looks like the middle hook's been snagged on something. I'll untangle that in a minute. And the slipping I could feel, because I use rig gum stops on my rigs. It was just sliding down the rig body a little bit until we got enough pressure on there for it to pull free. Right. Let's send the big bait out. Obviously I don't want my drop that long. Let's reel that in a little bit. This is going out and it's going to stay out. I'll bring you back shortly, guys. See you soon. Well guys, the sun really has come out, but the whiting have been feeding. I've still got a big bait out there. Yeah, so it's not really been the session I had planned. Different venue, different results. That was to be expected really. I knew as soon as I turned up here, even before I got here even, that with the sea like this, after the weather we've been having, it was going to be ting, ting, ting. And it has indeed been ting, 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 with that one solitary pout. I'm going to give it about another maybe 10 minutes before I reel that in and pack up. I was going to fish for another hour, but quite frankly, I came out to catch dabs, and it's because I've had to change venue. It's been a ting fest. Not really what I wanted, and I'm a little bit jet lagged and tired, so I could do with some sleep. But I'll bring you back when I reel this one in, and we'll see if there's anything had a munch on the whiting that I chucked out. Yeah, we'll see. You can't always win, can you? But you know what? There's different ways of winning, and I did win at least by being out on the beach fishing. The sun has come out, the rain has gone, and I feel a song coming on. I was about to start saying, I can see clearly now the rain has gone. But, well there, I did sing it. I have truly lost the plot, guys. I've lost the plot. Anyway, 10 more minutes, that's coming in, and that means we've got 10 more minutes to pick something decent up. Wish me luck, keep those fingers crossed. Let's hope for a bite on that rod, eh? We want it to pull round, we want the ratchet to go screaming, and then that'll get me adrenaline going. But if not, I'll head back home, and the sun's going to set in about an hour anyway. I wasn't going to fish into darkness. So yeah, that has been the session so far. This is the end, beautiful friend, the end. Well, the end as far as reeling in goes. I've still got to pack all my shit away. Let's see, hopefully not another snag. Oh, turn the ratchet off. Get the drag tightened back up. I think all that's on the end here is a little bit of weed. A little bit of weed caught on my line. Pick it off, it'll all be fine. Just a little bit of heaven on the way. Quite a few big breakers coming in, woohoo! Surfing through the edge. Let's have a look at this whiting, absolutely untouched, look. That, nothing has shown the slightest bit of interest in that ting. But if you have shown some interest in this video, I'd love it if you could give us a like and consider subbing. Wouldn't it be fantastic for me at least if I can get up to 4,000 subs? We're not far off, maybe a few months to go yet if I'm lucky. But yeah, if you haven't given us a sub yet, please do. It'll make me smile. And you never know, you might even get a song on the next video as well. But for today, that is the end of the ting fest. I know I've only shown a few on camera, but you don't want to see a load of whiting, do you? It's that time of year here in Sussex. Hopefully next time I come down, I'll be able to get in Pevensey Bay and get on the dabs. But yeah, I caught what I expected, given I had to change my venue. And I'll see you somewhere on a beach next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.